do. Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Black Book. I know you guys were waiting for me to sing it, but today we're going to keep it a bit more low key. But I'm here with some very, very, very important people who are going to give us a great feast of a conversation around what I learned in my marriage. You may recognize one of the faces here. He's always with me with a sharp haircut, the sharp beard and the sharp mind. He's Curtis from This Is Marriage UK. I've also got an extra guest, an honorable guest, I should say, a friend of ours, Anita, but she's going to introduce herself as always and let us know where she's from and what she's about, and then we're going to go into the conversation. But before we get there, guys, do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe. Okay, someone probably needs this conversation because I see people on Twitter all the time talking about stuff that really doesn't really need to be spoken about. Let's talk about some real stuff, which is marriage and some of the truths we can learn from others who are doing it well. All right, so guys, I'm going to leave it over to my guest now. Curtis, if you go first and let our guest introduce last, okay? It's always good to leave the best to last, they say.
The best to last. So, hey, let's take it from This Is Marriage UK, Instagram, YouTube, This Is Marriage UK. We talk about relationships. We have those conversations. We've got that content on our channel to help you navigate the journey of relationships towards God, marriage, and it includes the married, divorced, the single, the dating, and the blended now. Here we go. Anita.
Hi, my name is Anita Osafu-Asari. I am a wife, I am a mom, and I am a legal advisor to magistrates Monday to Wednesday. Yeah, I'm just me, humble old me. coming to share what I know with you all.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Anita, for joining us today on the Marriage Council. Also, so today's topic we're talking about is what I learned in my marriage. So this is not about giving us guru tips per se, but it's actually about what you specifically have learned since I am not in the marriage. I'm out of the equation. You get me? I have to pass this to you two lovely people. So Anita, since you're a guest on our show, I just want you to give us one key thing to kick us off that you have learned in your marriage.
Gosh, one thing.
If you can do more,
there's more to come. There's more to come.
There is more to come.
Because it's not just one thing, is it?
No, not at all. I would say it's one that I've said so many times, and Curtis has heard me say it a number of times, but it's about managing expectations.
Ooh.
I cannot emphasize that enough. Communicating with each other well so that you can manage expectations. That way, nobody is likely to get disappointed along the way. Curtis already knows what's up.
I'm going to come back to that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna let you explain that. I want you to go deeper though.
Okay.
But I'm gonna come back to that. But you continue.
Okay. I'm just trying to think of what would I have liked to have known about marriage before getting married that I didn't know before. And I think I've heard lots of people talk about it. And where do we get our views of what marriage should look like? I mean, apart from the media, we've got our personal circumstances, we've got our parents or whoever is raising us. But a lot of the older generation don't really talk to you about what a marriage should look like, and they expect you to just sort of figure it out. And I think just before you marry, they might give you some pearls of wisdom, but by then you're already in it. At your engagement, everyone is giving advice. You're halfway there. But the managing of expectations is a very personal thing. Everybody will have their own ideas of what they think marriage should look like, what they're expecting of their other half, what they're expecting to give you as a life partner. And I think it's important for you to really get down to the nitty gritty when discussing this. I mean, one thing that I think sort of stands out, and I've spoken to many people about this, and it seems to be coming up again and again and again and again, is a lot of the time what men are expecting and what women are expecting can be quite different. So for a lot of people, when they think about marriage, it's not normally, a lot of times, I'm surprised people do get married these days, the way people go on about it. Ball and chain, you're gonna be held down, everything's down, I want to settle down, you know. It's like, it doesn't sound too sexy to me, you know. And it can be quite daunting. And so for a woman, a lot of the time you're thinking about, yeah, you're going to have your best friend with you, you're going to have your ride or die, you're going to have your biggest cheerleader there. Men, for a lot of the time that I've come across, often think about all the things that they're not going to be able to do anymore, except for one area, which is sex.
Yep. This is key.
Yes. And this is where I feel like managing expectations sort of comes up. Because especially if you've actually, in any relationship, especially if you've been celibate before getting married, once you get married, the handcuffs are off or on, you know, all day, every day, you know, swing from the chandeliers, you know, I'm married now, so I can do whatever, you know, we can do whatever. And the woman, meanwhile, might be tired. You'll possibly have children along the way. There's honestly, for a woman, there are so many things that we think about. And a lot of the time, if a woman is quite stressed out, that is the last thing that they're thinking about. But for a man, if they're stressed, that's a release. Yeah.
Oh, this is deep. Okay.
And there's so many things that come into that about, you know, and also it depends on your past as well. For some people, if you're coming to the marriage, maybe this person's your first time, you'll be looking at things differently. If you've had partners before, you'll be looking at things differently. We're growing up in the age of the internet, where there's so many things accessible to you, and they start planting seeds of what
it should be,
sex should look like. And you're carrying that into your relationship, and sometimes it goes left. Sometimes it goes left. It doesn't mean it's the end of things, but it's where you have to really sit down and have that conversation and learn to be comfortable with uncomfortable conversations.
Do you know what? That was a great opening. Because there's many topics that are going to come in later on that I'm going to have to touch on what you've spoken about. I like that. Yeah. Curtis, do you want to also add to that your one thing that you've kind of learnt in marriage, one key thing you've learned?
Trying to sort through everything. I would say that most things are going to be the opposite. And that's because of I went into marriage with a great degree of a fantasy mindset. I believed this is the way it's going to be. I planned it out. This is how I'm going to love. This, because love is the opposite to what I thought it was, right? We might go into that, and that's about the expectations. I like what you said, Anita. I went in saying to myself, I'm going to love my wife like this. I'm going to make love like this. We're going to earn this much money. We're going to have this many kids. We're going to do things this way. We're going to go on holiday. We're going to enjoy life. How are we going to spend our weekends? You know what we're going to do on our weekends? So I went in with my own expectations, and what I have learned is that my own expectations are dead. Now, that's not to say that marriage is sad or bad. Really, it was. I thought that when I go back to saying I thought I'd love my wife this way, actually, I went in to be satisfied, to be loved, and to love that would satisfy me. Yeah. And so what that did was, you know, when you're living with each other, you can press buttons stuff from the past comes up.
Mhm.
So what would have happened was I was blindsided because it was all about me, whereas in reality, it's all about the other person.
Mm.
And so I had to bin my expectations and start from scratch. I
Okay.
wish I was told this from the start.
Mm.
My expectation, and I want to go back to that point. I wanted to love my wife so that I could love myself.
Okay.
It was self-fulfillment I was looking for. And love doesn't work like that.
Mm.
Well, it's not really love, is it? It's a counterfeit version. And so that's one thing I learned, was that loving and actual fulfillment from a productive relationship only works when you're just giving as a priority, and not fooling yourself into thinking that you're giving to please others when you're really giving to please yourself.
Mm. I like that point. I like that point. I want to ask a solid question, because this has been on my channel for a little while. Some of my people who are watching like to have this debate. Okay, so there's a debate about, in marriage, financial, I call it financial equity, meaning who is meant to pay more, because this is an area of absolute she's in the water, because this honestly is an absolute debate that happens on my channel all the time. And I guess the word 50-50 triggers a lot of people. Okay.
Are you talking about married couples now?
Listen, I'm talking about people that haven't, because remember this, although married couples, I'm sure they have the real idea. For us who are singletons, we have ideology. So the ideology is that 50-50 they can never come and do. This is not how it's meant to be. So I want to ask this question. We're talking about managing expectations, right? Can someone manage our expectations as to what does the financial situation look like in a marriage? Is it, as they're saying, the British gentleman come along and he pays for everything that you wanted to pay for? Is it a bit more work that both of you come together? I mean, how does that look in terms of the financial equity, in terms of what you bring to the table?
So Anita, this is about you today, so you go first. Okay?
How convenient. Okay, so what I would say is that it's not a one shoe fits all.
Cool.
Okay, and that's with everything in marriage. Your marriage is what you make it. And it's nobody's business how things are divided. If it works for you, it works for you.
I love that.
And, if it's not broke, don't fix it, So you have to think about what you're willing to do and come together and really talk about it, because so every person is different. Me, I don't know why, but I've always wanted my husband to earn more than I do. Because there's so many variables when it comes to giving birth, being on maternity leave, maybe wanting to take time out to raise the kids. So I wanted to be with somebody who earns more than I do. And I remember coming into marriage thinking that, okay, yeah, we'll just split things like 50-50. I was quite sort of happy with that. But as time has gone on, and he does earn more than I do, quite a bit, we divide things in terms of ratio.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah. So it's fair. But for somebody else that might not work. They might be like, well, I earn my money, but my money's my money. My husband's money is our money. And the husband is fine with that. So that too is cool. So there's a lot of people when it comes to this debate that also talk about shared accounts, bank accounts.
Please talk on it.
Well, I remember being really shocked because I grew up with my parents. They had a joint account and then they had their own individual accounts as well. And I used to remember that my mum was always using the joint account generally. My dad would use his own account. I remember thinking, how does that work then? But my dad was just like, you pick your battles. It's not that deep. So if mum wants to use that, that's perfectly fine. And if there's something in the house that she wants to buy that I don't think is worth buying, then she uses her own money for that. And that worked for them. But for a lot of people, having your finances together, it's quite frightening, actually. I remember coming into marriage and feeling quite financially vulnerable, not because I wasn't earning much, but because now all of a sudden, when I've always looked after my own finances and it's never been anybody's business, all of a sudden you're getting a mortgage together, whatever, and you have your credit report.
You ain't solo no more.
You know, and then he's going through everything because he has to for the financial advisor and all that kind of thing. You kind of feel a bit exposed, you know. But you have to let go of that if you're going to come together, because you're coming together as one. And as one, that means your finances as well, I believe.
As one.
It's now looking at things as our money.
That's touching a lot of people's souls right there.
It might do, but this is from my point of view, because if you hold on to these things that can come and go so easily and have that affect your relationship in such a deep way, there's going to be problems ahead, because there's going to be times when those finances are not flowing, and there's going to be times when they are, and that can't be the temperament of your relationship if you want this to last.
Come on, sis.
It's, you know, and it can get quite hairy. It can get quite hairy, but they always say that the two main causes of a divorce are finances and sex.
Yep.
And we've touched on both of those already.
Yeah. She's gonna sip water.
You know, you already know. You know what time it is.
Take a sip.
Go on, Curtis. This is a real one today.
I don't know why money is so emotive. But it's probably because it's one of the great signs and senses of independence and individuality, a degree of control. And it's really a societal thing. You know, where there's more freedom, there's more of that attitude. However, what should someone do? I think that when people are looking at marriage, they're supposed to be looking at securing unity and securing a relationship as the priority. And if money is the barrier, then the money has to be dealt with in a certain way. Because how many couples have I spoken to who they like their sense of independence and they will sacrifice their family's movements just to maintain that? They will sacrifice progress for the whole family. They have children. I know couples like that. They have children, and certain decisions like, oh, I'm not going to go and get my degree because I'm going to have to ask them for money, kind of thing. You gotta be careful of this mindset. This is ultimately, and this is my view, I'm here for her and she's here for me. So, for example, what did we need to do? She earned and she brought in the money whilst I was in college. Never threw that back in my face. Never ever said, well, I earned the money or I paid for it. Everything that comes in the house is ours. So this isn't really about money. This is about self. When you come into marriage and you've got that, it's always important to maintain degrees of identity, self-identity. But if it comes at a cost of your relationship, then we have to reprioritize. It's not about the money. It's about why. Why is your money separate? If you can do money separately, great. But why is your money separate? And if money's separate because I like my freedom, it's like, hold on a minute. You're both free. Why are you not free? You're married. You are there for him and he's there for you. Why do you not sense the freedom? And so I think there's a lot of issues behind why people hold on to their money, which are more important than
the money itself.
The money itself. It's nothing to do with them. That's why Christ said it's the love of money. It's not money. So it's the issue behind. You know, so for me in my house, man, it's like I know if I earn $1 million or earn £1, we earn the million or we earn £1. There is never that, and that just knocks out a lot of issues straight away. A lot of issues straight away. When I earn about the same, a little bit more here and there, but if I earn the $1 million, it's just not going to be an issue, and that secures a lot of unity.
How do you get to that point? Because I'm talking from my generation and what I see on social media. Listen, that ain't gonna run too good. You know what you guys are saying. Yeah, because you're asking them, like you just said, you're asking them to give up some level of sovereignty, okay, to someone else, irrespective of if they love that person or not. You know, there's that trouble of giving up self or the sovereignty or the freedom, the independence. So how do you get to that place where you consider the thing to be ours?
Coming from somebody who struggled with it before, obviously you have to, marriage causes you to hold a mirror up to yourself. I mean, you need to check yourself every now and then. You should be doing that anyway. I think it's really healthy to do that. You do have to look at why you're struggling with that. But it may be you've been burnt in the past. It may be a lack of trust, not just of the other person, maybe of yourself, and exposing yourself, maybe your poor spending habits. Maybe you've been flexing, and then when the other half now has access to how you've been spending, you know, it blows your cover, and you need to come together and sort of really look at things, especially if you want to plan together going forward. But it's allowing yourself to be vulnerable and really think, have you made the right, you know, when you've made the right choice in the partner, it makes all of these things
easier,
a little bit easier. It does. When you have confidence in the right person, it makes those things just that bit easier. But say if you came into a marriage with somebody, you knew that they had poor spending habits and they had really bad credit, and that's going to affect you and the things that you're able to do. I can understand how that can be quite tough. And in those circumstances, I've known people to then, the person who maybe has the better spending habits takes the reins. But then in marriage, you are one. And, you know, when the other person is, you know, down, you kind of compensate, and then you meet each other halfway. I think it's really important. Like, my husband has taught me so much about financial education in this marriage. So he's bringing me up, not just in the finances, but in my knowledge as well, and how I handle things. And that doesn't just benefit me, that benefits him, and therefore benefits us. And I think it's just not thinking about yours and mine. Your mindset in everything has to be about us. And when you, and love is not enough. It's not just about love. It's about the respect and the trust and the being open and vulnerable and transparent, because omitting things is also an untruth. And it's uncomfortable, isn't it? Because I think we've all done it. Oh, they don't really need to know this. You know, I don't want to cause too much ad word, but you know, if you're going to raise it, it's going to be something else. But you already know. So I think it's all starts with the mindset, and that mindset, I think, you should start trying to think that way before you get married. Don't save things up to start doing it in marriage and let's see how it all goes. Once you know you're with the one, and you'll start to, because my mum used to say this to me all the time, and I never used to really understand it, but now I do. She says that when you find the one, the person who you should be with, you're not looking at each other, you're looking in the same direction. And now I get it. Wow. You need to have similar plans, similar goals, and be willing to encourage each other on those goals. And money and the way you look at things, you need to be solid as one going forward. So it's a lot to do with the mindset. And before you get married, you start practicing that. So when you get married, it's just a smoother transition. You're already planning for those things, even if you have separate bank accounts when you start.
Powerful. Powerful. Do you want to add to that, Chris? Or you think it's good? You know that?
Listen, she said it. Anita, you said it. You know what it is? It's like sometimes when you see some relationships struggling, or they're failing, and you just look at the issue behind it. And there's a writer that I remember, you know, there's two types of religion in the world: the worship of the God, or worship of the true God, and the worship of self. There's two religions in the world, and all other religions point to self. Christianity points to Christ and his ways. And so what I'm saying is that that nature of self is probably behind everything that we want to label. When we're talking about communication, why people have communication problems, it's because they're looking at themselves.
Ooh.
and they can't see past their needs. And so when we're looking at money, sex, I mean, sex even, for example, like we can go into marriage thinking of ourselves, like I'm going to make love to her. Hear the language. The language betrays us. I'm going to make love to her like this, but you're actually saying, I want to get mine. That's what you're really saying, you know? And so when we talk about money, sometimes it's a case of me, self. You know what I mean? And when you're in marriage, if you want a marriage to work and if you want a relationship, then you now have to, and we did this the other day, you've got to turn the other way. You got to turn your compass the other way around, and look out. So, for example, like we need to know, man. Listen, whoever brings in the money, it actually never crosses my mind to say I earned that. That's my money. That's look what I did. No, I don't need to do that, and I've never really had that feeling. It's nice to bring home money as a man. That's different.
That's different, yeah.
But I love to see her get in her hand. That's how my dad was. He'd say to my mom, here's the money. And she would do good and bad with it, which is a story. But he enjoyed bringing that home. When I bring my money home, or earn money, or money arrives in the account, I like that feeling it gives me. But I also like Juanita to feel good about that. And every penny. And sometimes she has ideas, or we will get together and have an idea. This is what we're going to do. Or it could have been, like we have in the past, this is all we can do. How are we going to do it?
Yeah.
But it's not about me. It's not like I'm trying to go out there and buy the PS5 right now. No heat. I got Xbox. It's no big deal. Don't worry. But, you know, some guys out there like saving up for their PS5. It's great. But not at the expense of my relationship. I'm not. No. My family comes first.
And that's true, because it's about the value you place on it, isn't it, really? And the unity, your marriage and your family comes first before all of these other things.
That's powerful. Since we're talking about, obviously, because I think I want to go back to managing expectations, because a lot of my audience are females. So I guess it's a question more for Anita. How do you balance home life, work, career? You know what I'm saying? Because as you said about managing expectation, just as the women have an expectation of maybe man providing everything, the guys are also on the other bank saying, well, I mean, she needs to be cooking and cleaning and, you know, looking after the children and that, you know what I'm saying? So how do you balance home life and career? Because your career, obviously, you're quite you know, a demanding workplace where you're at. How do you balance that? You know what I'm saying? How do you make that work?
Boy, I'm still trying to work that out, to be honest.
Good answer.
Still trying to work that out, because, you know, I realize that a lot of the questions that are being asked are like, they're put as if once you're married, you have all the answers. Whereas marriage is not the destination, it's the journey, isn't it?
Journey.
So you're continuing the learning and the discovering and the working out and the tweaking. Oh, that doesn't work for me, and I'm going to try and do this. It's okay to not come with it all worked out. And even within marriage, there's further seasons. So I have been doing what I've been doing for since we got married, and but now we have a child, so that's changed things as well. So in terms of work-life balance, we've got a little one, and I'm working, and I'm getting up at odd hours to sort of finish off my work or prepare for court the next day. With a child that's not sleeping, waking up periodically, and I've got to fit in time. This is all the many hats that you wear: time as a mother, fit in time as a wife, fit in time as an employee, fit in time for myself, and more often than not, myself is the last. Because obviously a child, you've got to give they're the priority. Your husband as well can't just be left on the shelf. And you find that it's hard, and I think communication is at the heart of it, really. If you have an open flow of communication, even if it comes down to putting on a calendar what you're doing or where you're working each day, when your meetings are, so you can manage the expectations. So I know, okay, this week looks pretty full on for Rex. Let's try and put in some time for us and be intentional about it. And then there's other times where, you know, both of you have got quite a bit of time, so you can flow and do things that are a bit spontaneous. It's about being intentional. It's about making an effort. You know, when you come home and you're so, I mean, you whip off your wig, you're just, you know, put the headscarf on, and that's another thing, that the headscarf gate. I know that can be quite a deep one.
I love headscarves. Don't worry, Juanita and I've got a lot. I love her.
Thank you, Curtis. Thank you.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
Thank you. Kojo, I don't know. I haven't heard from you on that.
We're fine with it. Trust me, I love it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, I don't like. Yeah, come home, relax, get it up. I'm cool.
Yeah, man.
Amazing.
Let's get real.
Amazing. Yeah, because it's real. It's real, all right.
Cool.
But yeah, there has to be. I think I've found that quite challenging, balancing it. And also not just because you become a mum, it's all about the child, all about the child, all about the child, and not forgetting your husband there as well. Because your quality time, and it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. So even if it is 15 minutes of the two of you just chilling together in silence, and or just, you know, having a conversation about how are you? My husband always asks me, like, how am I doing? Like, are you happy? Are you good? And I think that's such a great way to just take stock of whether the other person is feeling like fulfilled in the marriage. Because I remember one time speaking to friends of ours, and the husband was like, yeah, things are good. And she's like, is it? And it's just like, wow, because there's that disconnect, there's not that communication and checking in. Work can be very, very demanding, and you have to do it. But as long as the two of you, you've got to really fight for that time. And like I said, you can't always be spontaneous when you've got a child hanging off your neck and you're working. So you've got to put those date nights in the diary. And, you know, if something comes up, and just because you haven't got official plans, you're still doing something. You're spending time with your wife or your husband. So that is a plan, and you've got to stick with it. So if people say, oh, why don't you come over for dinner? And you think, oh, we're not really doing anything. I suppose we can do it on Saturday. But Saturday was your day with your husband or your wife. You've got to shut the rest of it off, and also switch off your phone. Social media, WhatsApp messages, it can steal that time away, time that you already don't have because you're managing everything else. And then what you're exposed to on social media, starting to plant seeds. Before you know it, you're having an argument with yourself, and there really wasn't an issue to begin with. You know, so I think it's just about communicating with each other and being intentional about creating that time, because there is time.
Yeah,
you just got to make it. Not easy. It's simple, but not always easy.
I hear that. Curtis, you want to give the opposite end as a husband? You know, how do you balance the career, the home life, and obviously as well, you know, being a father, and also, you know, making sure that your wife is also taken care of, because obviously she's giving us the female side. I'm trying to hear your side now, sir. Talk to us.
Let me throw something in there, right? Because Juanita and I work in, and almost alongside what Anita would be doing. So we work in youth justice, and it is it's crazy. It's crazy, right? The workload is crazy. So it's you've got to be self-aware. Now, now self-aware. Now what? And you know what it is. Bypassing all of the fact that, you know, we fall into the trap of just going a days and days of just being in a routine that is not really serving the relationship. When we have caught ourselves, I'll tell you what we have done. This is for grown-up people, so anyone under 18 should not be here. Lock off now. But what we did do is we were on in a conference. We were presenting in a conference, and one of the guys who was presenting with us just said, "Look, man, we're going to be doing the 5-day shower challenge." And so we just committed to 5 days in a row where we showered together.
Wow.
Lovely. Now,
Wow.
it's interesting because what it didn't do is it wasn't that movie romantic. It was really just putting some really strong bonds
Mm.
in that were, if anything, subconscious, but you could feel them, that we were bonding. Another thing that we do, what I started to do was what I started to do it, and I actually forgot to. It's my fault. Listen, I mean, I'm doing it, but I messed up a couple of days, right? So just go in and hug for 10 seconds, random. So it's like some things, it's like they're not teamwork. You're just making sure you're just putting some oil in the cogs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's little things like that. And it was something I came across on Instagram, and I thought, let me try that as well. I've been putting it's on my stories on it. This is Marriage UK. Just hug your wife for 10 seconds at random. That is never expected. And now, not every woman likes that, but I think most women do. And it does things. It does things. What else have we done? And you know what Juanita and I do as well? We either spend a little time taking a mickey out of someone or something, having a laugh about someone or something, just banter. Okay? And that can happen even on a bad day. That can even happen on a bad day. But something we've always done is have a laugh. And that is in the midst of all kind of trials. Juanita's there, look, she's warning me. What are you saying? She's there. Oh, so yeah, the hugs. She loves the hugs. She loves that. So, and I'm because I'm not inclined to be affectionate. It means I'm stretching myself. So I can be tired. I can be like, I don't want to do this. But what I do, even more so now, is I would say, even though I don't feel like that, because I'm not a huggy person, I don't actually like receiving hugs. That's just me. That's my disposition. I'm not happy about it, but that's actually who I am. I accept it. But I will still get up and go and give it for real. That's putting the oven on gas mark 2 so that later on the food's hot. You understand?
Yeah, come on.
Hey.
And that really does do something in the background. Yeah.
Can I ask both Curtis and Kojo, what is your love language?
Oh.
And what is your partner or wife's love language? Because one thing I realize is the language that you project is not necessarily the one you want to receive.
That's true.
And you just mentioned, Curtis, that you're not really a physically affectionate person, but maybe Juanita, physical touch might be her love language. But what are yours, both of you?
Hold on, you asked you a question, man. What?
Yeah. I know mine, innit? Mine's a quality time conversations, because it splits into 2: quality time. So I'm quality time conversations and words of affirmation. So I mean, it doesn't take much to please me. I'm telling you, just tell me some nice things, mate. I'm good to go. And I think the missus is acts of service and quality time. So acts of service is really not on my top list, bruv. If I'm honest with you, acts of service is probably the bottom. Yeah, so that is a stretch. Yeah, and so that's always like you said, it stretches you. It's a challenge. Once you now can't say, well, I didn't know. So now if you don't do it, it's because now you're saying you're actually stopping yourself from doing it, which means that I have to challenge myself and say, why am I not trying to do it? Inherent selfishness. So then you start to realize that's something you have to work on. So yeah. Kurt.
Thank you, sir. Let's bear in mind, studies have shown that love languages change over time.
Oh, is it?
And so, yeah, they don't stay the same for everybody all the time.
Oh.
Saying that,
didn't know that.
I've tried to identify it at 5 and I can't. I've looked at this and I'm like, no, it's not me. I don't need encouragement. I don't need a pat on the back. I don't need physical affection. I don't need service. I'm just, and I think mine is still then. I like honor.
Oh,
which is not in the 5.
what would honor come as? That can still come. I feel like
Is that a
Where?
love language though?
Works
Honor
for
isn't,
me.
but maybe
Works for me.
he's probably words of affirmation. He probably
It
words
might
of
be words of
affirmation.
affirmation in a
It's
sense. Yeah,
Affirmation.
might be.
Words of affirmation.
I saw your face
Um,
when you were complimented on your
Your
slick
beard. He's words of affirmation.
You
Yeah, but I
loved
don't.
it.
No, but I don't. No, I don't take that on at all. Compliments. I don't do compliments.
He
Did they make you
doesn't
feel
do it.
uncomfortable?
He's-
Does it make me feel uncomfortable? Slightly. Yeah.
Compliments.
Yeah.
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 Take the test, man.
So a pat on the back is like, well, wow, you look. No, like, please don't. You don't need to.
Take the
That's
test, man.
not. That's
Yeah,
not. Take the test.
Take the test.
I've done my personality test,
Yeah.
and it changes every couple of years. But hey,
Okay,
Wow.
you're one in how many billions on the earth? Okay, okay, he's one of those guys that are difficult. That I tell you that he's different to everybody else. All right, rest of us.
it might lean more to words of affirmation, but I say that because even if I don't get affirmation, I'm still okay. I think it might be the thing that picks me up a little bit, but it doesn't. I don't feel a need for to receive any of them, and that's been a challenge for Juanita. Try and meet me, which is not a nice challenge, but that's, we're in this now, and she's working with me on that basis.
That's interesting. That is.
Yeah.
Good luck, Juanita. Still. Yeah, that's a hard one there, guys. But no. Okay, cool. So obviously, we spoke a little bit about managing expectation. We spoke about finance, spoke a little bit about sex as well. So a work schedule as well. How do you? I think this is one of my questions. Because obviously, I guess patience is one of the is a principal thing in marriage. Principle, right? But how do you develop that stamina to remain patient? Because whilst you got work going on, stress of the kids going on, you know what I'm saying, and life in general is going on, you know what I'm saying. How do you develop stamina in your bones to be able to remain patient, so that you can enjoy the fruits of your relationship? Because I'm guessing when you don't become patient, you snap, etc. But yeah, how do you gain that stamina?
Curtis?
Stamina to remain patient. Speaking to those whose patience is a challenge, which is the majority. I want to throw this point in at a different angle.
Okay.
And I might be slaughtered for it, but I don't care. I think that just waking up on the other side of hell gives you stamina. What do I mean by that? I mean, couples will go through their stages. With Juanita and I, we've been through a lot. How do you handle difficult challenges? Okay. Juanita and I have been through a lot. And in some sense, I look back and I think, how did I get here? We're on the better side of it, but I can't fully answer that question. So I remember I've used this analogy. I was walking with Christ, life got rough, then I woke up, it was footprints in the sand, and I woke up and looked behind me and there was only one set of footprints. So when I passed out, he carried me. What I'm saying is that I can't account for all of our achievements because some of it's not been in my hands. Some of it's just been grace and so forth. And what happens then in answering the question is this: I'm more patient because I passed through. It just happens. It's, if you're in a relationship with someone and you don't run away, you may cuss, you may sleep downstairs, but if you don't walk out on the relationship, then when you wake up in the morning, you will have more patience because it's a natural product. It's like walking every day, training every day. For me, in my experience and what I've seen with others, it's not everything, but just don't take the fire exit. Just stay there. even if you have to argue some more. Because I don't think that patience is always a beautiful event with a halo over your head. I don't think there's glory shining from us when we're patient all the time. Sometimes patience is just sitting still and gritting your teeth. Sometimes patience is screaming and crying because you're still there. And then you wake up and then you say, oh, remember that argument we had like 8 years ago? No, that really bad one. I remember there was a really bad argument that Winnie and I had. It was about 5-6 years ago. I don't fully get it, but it was connected to church. I don't fully remember why we argued like that, but it was just stuff that was external to us. We look back and say, "Why, I remember that argument?" And so the stamina was that I didn't walk away. She didn't walk away. It was a bad argument, but it wasn't anything to do with us. It was to do with something else that we weren't aware of. And my patience was that I didn't think that we were over, we had finished. So I'm saying that patience looks like different things. It's not just saying, okay, babe, so I hear you. What you're really trying to say, that reflective kind of talking, that mirroring, it's not always that. Sometimes it's just like putting your hands on your head and just sitting back and not doing the murder. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Do you want to speak to that, Anita, as well?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that Curtis said. I feel like perseverance births patience, and being able to push through. And it's like, I'd love to say I've got it all worked out. That is not the case at all. I can be quite sort of hot-headed. And so it takes effort. Yeah, Curtis, trust me, you don't know.
Who's gonna call Rex?
Call him, he'll tell you himself. He'll tell you himself. The calmness only goes so far. And I think sometimes I have to sort of like watch myself. It's not natural. You have to be self-aware and then stop yourself. Sometimes when you're about to blow your lid, or because the things that will get to you are the little things that happen time and time again. They're not the big things. We all can think about the big blowouts that we've had. They can be the small things over and over and over and over again that really start getting to you. And then you can start being sort of quite irritated. So I feel like communication, and sometimes knowing why people are doing the things that they're doing, or why things are taking so long, or why you do things the way you do them. And once you sort of know that maybe the person's not doing it on purpose, or they just don't know, sometimes we have conversations with ourselves in our head and expect our partner to respond. And it's a one-person conversation, and you're getting irritated and you're becoming impatient. Like, come on, just get on with it, or just do. Why can't you? And that's another thing that I learned from pre-marital class, is about the way in which you speak to your partner. Not starting with things that will naturally get their back up. So if they are always leaving their dirty socks, somewhere, or they're not washing up and all the rest of it, and you started to get a bit impatient, the way you approach the conversation will determine the way in which it ends. And ideally, you want a positive end, don't you, basically? So the you never, you always is not the way. And that sometimes just flows off your tongue. It does. But to actually stop, not to just say things, to just stop and think before you say it. Now, that's not going to happen every time. There's going to be times where you're just going to go off. But that's okay. That's okay. We're all human, and we're all just trying to get there.
Yeah.
But it's just about being self-aware. And I think that perseverance, that pushing through, the giving the person an opportunity to correct whatever they do, that, those types of things, pushing through that can birth patience. But it doesn't come naturally to everyone. Some people are patient people. They can wait, and they can sort of forgive and forget, and just it's okay. That's not me, I'm afraid. That's not me, and that's not a lot of people. So all of these qualities don't come naturally to a lot of us. So they have to be learned, they have to be practiced, they have to be intentional. And that's all I can really sort of say. There's no sort of magic answer to how to be patient, but for it to be practiced, and then it will just become part of you, not in every situation, but you'll be more aware and it won't burn you as much.
I love that.
Listen, man, there are some things that Juanita does, which in themselves, I can honestly say right now, they're not that bad, but they've been frustrating. Now you can imagine that there are some things that I do for Juanita, do that will frustrate Juanita. And in times way past, we would have had arguments about it. And like you said, Anita, it's not the actual act that's really the issue. It's how I started the thing. And like, she uses more soap liquid than I like. Does that sound very small to you? Does that sound very small? It's small to you.
I know the feeling.
So she has this way of, like she would always say, like, I remember we're late to get somewhere, and when it was going around the house switching off all the switches. But we're late. Let's just go. Just leave everything. That was the argument. Now that sounds small. And I've only told you certain things. I'm not going to expose my wife because she's watching, and I'll be a dead man afterwards. But where I'm going with this is that there are some things I've looked at and just said, it's okay. Just let it be. She's going to use too much of this. She's going to do this. She's going to do that. Leave her. Someone asked a question, where do you draw the line when patience runs out? And patience is really for us to reflect before we open our mouths. It's not just to sit there quietly. It's to have us consider how we approach something. That's what patience is. It's that space between reckless openings or solution-focused communication. There's a purpose for everything here. Because to be honest with you, there are some things that Juanita does or that I do. There's some things that Juanita does that is just wrong. But my patience will allow me to consider whether it's worth addressing in the first place. Like you said, someone said, pick your battles, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to fight over this anymore. This is ridiculous. I'm just going to leave it. And I've properly left it, and now I'm at more peace. I just don't even see it now. Because there's a bigger game I'm playing.
Yeah.
There's a bigger game I'm playing. So patience not supposed to run out. Because if someone's abusing your time and your space or abusing you, you're supposed to put your foot down. Because it's abuse. But if someone's doing something that niggles you, your patience is still never supposed to run out. You've still got to move ahead wisely, because we're looking at the whole relationship and how it goes. So don't let people abuse you, but be real. And it really helps when two people do that, not just one. And normally there's usually there's one that's slightly more hot-headed than the other, more easily triggered than the other. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to expose you. Sorry.
No.
You know, you go on. Go ahead.
It's definitely, and also I was going to say about patience, not necessarily being quiet either.
No.
Yeah, because you try different things out. You think, okay, the way I reacted last time, maybe that wasn't fruitful, so let me try this. For example, my husband does many things. He works, but he does many other things as well. And these are all things that are going to make a better future for us. And he's doing it for the family. But then because he's so busy, it means less quality time. And so, I remember thinking that, oh gosh, I really, we're in the same house together and everything like that, but because he's doing what he's doing and I want to be supportive of that, let me just let him sort of get on. And then after a while, I'm a bit like, you know what, this quality time thing is not really happening. And so you're starting to get irritable.
Yeah.
But in your mind, in your head, you're being patient. because
Yes.
you're letting him do his thing. You want to be supportive. I don't want to be the nagging wife.
Love language.
You know, you're doing it for the fam. You're doing it for the family. So, you know,
God's
it's not like
work.
he's out doing anything. So why should you be disturbing the guy? But you're actually doing not just yourself, but your relationship a disservice by not speaking up. And the way you speak is also a thing that's of importance as well. And that can be patience as well. And once you start communicating with the person and you start telling them how you feel, and then they might not even be aware that you're feeling that way. And you keeping quiet actually is just gonna, animosity and irritation is just going to build, and that's not going to be healthy either. So speaking up is also a way of being patient, but the patience comes in the way in which you do it, and giving that person room to adjust the way in which that they are behaving or what they're doing. That's where the patient comes, because it doesn't necessarily change overnight. It could be habits. If you think habits are built over a lifetime, and just because you're married, you're expecting the person to change all of those things like this. Again, managing expectations, that's not realistic. So it's also about being able to address things and giving that person that room to meet you halfway. That's where the patience is exercised.
Do you know what? I've been attacked on this channel.
You've been attacked?
So I've been attacked. I'm going to tell you who attacked me, Anita.
Oh no, is it somebody I know?
Yeah, someone you know. It's two people you know, actually. It's firstly this guy with the MAGA hat on, yeah? And secondly, my wife. They're teaming up against me.
Now let me.
What?
No, Anita, let me break it down. So someone says here, sing, pray, love. It says it's hard at times to just not be mad. I get it. Let me share this with you. Sing, love, pray. Sing, pray, love. Listen. So they're saying, yeah, you know, when they said, you know, when you leave your hair in the bathroom. Anita, are you listening to me? This is what they're saying about me, right? So this is it. Now, I cut my hair twice a week, though. And so sometimes I do leave it. But listen to me, people. Listen to me. Juanita and I, we are the best team in the world, okay?
Yeah, I know that.
You understand, Anita? Like, you and Rex, you're the best team. Like, no matter what, 100%, right? So this is what happens sometimes. Kojo, you're a dead man today, you know? So this is what happens sometimes, right? Sometimes I don't sweep it up. Now, my hair, I don't let it grow much. So when I cut my hair, you can't see it. But Juanita I'm not messy. I'm just not as tidy as my wife. You understand?
There's levels.
Right? She's 12 more times more tidy than me. She's meticulous, but I'm still not messy. I'm just going to be clear to the world on that. Sometimes when I leave things, she'll pick up after me. You know what? I actually know she'll do it. Sometimes there's some things that she doesn't do. I just do it. Listen, there are some things, those things I'm talking to you about was arguments back in the day. Now the game has changed. Like, actually, let me not say nothing. Let me just deal with it. Let me just pick up after him and he'll pick up after me. Like, we're watching each other's back. So instead of now, I'm not even looking at patience. I'm playing a different game to make this life easy. Let's not argue over that. I remember years ago, gosh, you're talking about 10, 12 years ago, I must have said to her, what are you cussing me for? Just pick it up. If you see it that I haven't picked it up, just pick it up. Now, that's not me telling my wife. That was me venting. But she was frustrated with me. I should have picked it up. Why should I expect her to have everything covered like that? Strange noise. That error.
I'm so sorry. We live under a flight path.
Oh, no problem. As long as we know, yeah. So yeah. West London, yeah? So I'm saying to you that there are some things that I do for her and she does for me. The car, for example. I can clean it today. I remember years ago when we had the kids, I'll clean the car and it'd have popcorn everywhere the next day. It's no joke picking up mess in the car. Now I'm like, that's my job. I will never ask her to clean the car. It's my job. Instead of complaining about the popcorn that was spilled. So you have to understand, like, I don't need patience. I've just changed how I think about the situation. I don't need to get frustrated anymore. So Juanita, she has my back hard. Therefore, because she has that mindset of I'm going to have my husband's back, he's going to work, he's driving far, he's doing it. She doesn't ask me to do anything. She's not expecting me to be that guy all the time. She's already assessed my husband is making a move. I'll have her back. When it's her, I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah, I've got to go and do this visit. I've got to go and do this. Cool. Let me do lunch. I'm not sitting there waiting and losing my patience because my wife doesn't cook them. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm saying like we play a different game. It's a different game.
So are you talking about being proactive? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, changing your perspective. Like, look, if she doesn't, like, look, literally, right? Listen, my wife is not a pushover by any means, but I'm going to tell you, if I could say this without it sounding funny, I have a ring light in here. I would change the camera around, but there's a ring light here, and there's a tripod here. Okay.
You went too serious about the hair at the moment.
I'm only joking. Right? There's a ring light here. It's got to be put in a cupboard. This tripod's going to be put away. Normally, when I get up, I'll just go straight upstairs and I'll start talking to Juanita. Juanita is going to come downstairs and put it away. Because right now I'm hustling. I'm working. So she doesn't practice patience now. She's not having to wait for her patience like an elastic band to stretch out. She's like, I'm going to make sure that after he does that, I'm going to do this. So there's no need for patience now. You understand? She's all she's thinking about is the front room tidy and has Curtis finished?
I
hope I answered the question. I hope
you answered. Anita, you was going to say something. Sorry, I just see that you was ready to go for it.
No, I think I've even forgot what I was gonna say. But I think what helps Rex and I think we're a good team with this, is that one thing I've noticed about him, which I wish I could be a bit more like him in that regards, is that when I express something maybe I'm not happy with or whatever, he takes it on board and he just doesn't do it again. Generally, which is
good.
Huge. It's huge.
I need to learn that.
Honestly, that goes a long way, because then you don't have as much irritation, and again, you don't have to exercise as much patience, but it's also reliant on me expressing it at the early stages, rather than letting it pile up. You blow up and then he does something about it. But I think, like I said, a lot of women, well, I can speak for myself and a few of the other women that I've spoken to in the past, that we have a lot of conversations in our head, but don't actually communicate them to your husband or other half, and expect them to know. Well, he should have known I'm upset. Well, he should know that I'm upset. You know, how did you not see that? Didn't you see the way I was? Blah blah blah. And they often, men and women often see things quite differently, and then it becomes my responsibility. So I have to check myself sometimes when I get irritated, because maybe I didn't actually communicate it. And I'm just expecting Rex to be able to know that this is why I'm annoyed, and I haven't addressed it, and I've let it go on, and then I just pop off. So I have to take responsibility as well in that scenario. So yeah, but that I really do appreciate, if he's watching, that whenever I do tell him something, he takes it on board. That is so helpful.
I appreciate that. I just want to highlight the message here from Rex himself, just saying that's his wife.
Hey.
Shout out to the husbands out there. Shout out to the husbands.
Anita, how long have you been married?
We've been married for 6 years. We've been together for 11 years and been friends for 21 years.
Some time, isn't it?
Yeah. The friendship has, to me, is like, that is the foundation of our relationship. 110%, which is why I don't feel like my marriage is an effort. It is more so now with a child. And this is probably the first time it's felt more like you have to make an effort to do things. But having that friendship as the foundation has just been an absolute godsend, because
did you know that before you got married?
That what friendship would be
that would be the thing, or was it? Yeah,
that was the thing that worried me actually in getting together with Rex, because that transition from friendship to something more.
Yeah.
I've never had that before. Normally you see the person, you're attracted to them, and then you see if there's a connection. Whereas he and I, we're not each other's type. And yeah, that was something special. But God knew what he was doing, because nothing changes unless something changes. Is it nothing changes unless nothing changes unless nothing I can't even remember. Rex knows it. It's basically, if it's not been working before, you need to change it. Nothing changes if nothing changes. That's it. If you've been in a relationship with certain types of people and it's just not been working out, that may be your type, but that might not be the person that you need in your life.
Somebody's getting touched.
So
Not me, I'm just saying in general.
Sorry, just in the line of work that I work, in the field of work that I work in, it's not always a good thing. So just everyone be safe out there. So basically, it's the friendship, the being able to laugh. I know that Curtis mentioned that. Oh my gosh, that has been such a saving grace. The times where you are giving your other half the side eye and he just makes you laugh and it all just sort of falls away. That is food for the soul. Laughter. Honestly.
It's very easy to have a relationship or be married and you just are not friends. Now, I'm just speaking in terms of a relationship, not a marriage. In the context of marriage, but in a marriage, you don't have to have a relationship. This is more of a westernized thing. Do you know what I mean? But if you want a relationship where we are both want to meet each other and understand each other, in this society, you need to have a friendship. I just don't understand how we would have a functioning marriage without a friendship. That is the thing that is the thing. And I never knew this, right? I entered marriage in fantasies. Yeah, I love my wife at the time, my girlfriend at the time, which was my wife, is my wife. But in terms of friendship, man, that had to grow, that had to develop. And I realized years later, that is the thing. It's very easy to be married and not be friends.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Because it sounds very simple, but what do you mean you have to be friends or you have to become friends? What does that mean? Because I understand what Anita's saying in the beginning, that you're friends, but what do you mean friends in a marriage? What does that mean?
Anita, can I hand that to you first? I can answer, but I'm giving the guest, you know what I mean?
It's when everything else, where all the lust and the feeling of being in love, in terms of like the fairy tale way of being in love, because that's another thing I discovered. What real love is, the love that has longevity is quite different to the love that I thought I was experiencing in the past, when you get all giddy every time you see the person and that kind of a thing. There isn't often longevity in that, and sometimes that comes and it goes and it comes and it goes, and a lot of people, when it goes, they start freaking out. That, oh my gosh, this marriage is not working, because I thought I'm supposed to be feeling like this all the time, and they've been sold a dream which is not the reality. It doesn't mean you can't have joy throughout your marriage, but you'll have different levels of intensity in terms of passion along the way, and you have to understand that. Otherwise, it's just you're being sold something else, but being friends is being able to enjoy your marriage without necessarily having that lust, and I just want to
I like
kind
that.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I like that.
You can feel really fulfilled and content, not just excited, that excited type of love. Feel really like content and like at peace, just chilling with the person and talking about things that don't consume you. Just being able to just be, and even being comfortable in silence, just chilling. That's the friendship. That's the I want to be with you, because lockdown has put a magnifying glass on a lot of marriages where people have not been friends, or in fact, they don't actually even really like each other. But because of routine, going out to work and being busy, that masks all of that. Now we're having to homeschool the children, and we're having to work in the same space at home. It's put a magnifying glass on things that maybe they weren't aware of, that's been masked by the busyness of life. And I'm not saying that even if you were friends, all your problems are going to be solved. No, there's nothing that's going to solve all your problems but Christ. Leaning on him. But from a practical point of view, I feel like being able to have that foundation where the other things that come and go are not the foundation, but the friendship, the being able to be comfortable with one another, enjoy each other's company, and then all those other bits are the icing on the cake that make things exciting. But yeah, I think that's what, to me, friendship in the marriage is.
If I could throw this on it as well, and I hope my, let me just go straight there. It's like your friendship allows a man to see past weight gain or weight loss. It's not that they're not issues. It's not that a matter of preferences. This is about, I still enjoy your company, and I still enjoy, you still are in a strange way attractive to me. Even though you might be a different size, or the stretch marks, operations, disease, hair loss, head scarf, you're looking at, and I'm saying it from a man's perspective because we're so visual with this thing.
Yes.
Orientated. It's like we're looking at you, we're like, actually, you're still sexy to me. And I enjoy your company, and there's no butterflies, like you said, Anita, there's none. It's just, there's something else I'm running on. And so when we're talking about friendship, it's not that we can sit down and have a laugh only. That is a reflection of it. But what goes on, the non-verbal, she's wearing tracksuit bottoms and baggies and whatnot, headscarves on, no makeup, no eyebrows, no eyelashes. What you saying, bro?
I said she looks good to me.
She looks good to me, though. You understand?
Yeah.
This is what friendship does. It allows you to sit down, look in your worst, and not feeling like you're worst around the person you're with. You still feel like you're somebody.
Beautiful.
You want to say
Is
that
that
again?
the one? Is that the one, Anita?
That is it. That is it.
I'm going upstairs to my wife right now.
Yes, Juanita. Yes, Juanita.
Marcus.
For real. For real. That is it. And you know what it is as well? It's like when you go out and you can whisper quiet, subtle jokes to each other. Yeah. When I go out, we always do that. That's our thing. We maintain something that is special to us.
I love this.
Whether we're out or whether we're at home, that's our thing. We will have a little laugh. Now, we're not. Don't think that you come to my house and we're laughing all the time. It's not like that. But when we have fun, we have fun. Beyond butterflies.
Yeah. Beyond butterflies. Yeah. Definitely.
Title of my next book.
I like that. Beyond the butterflies. Beyond the butterflies. Guys, we're coming to the last few minutes of the actual talk. I know it's been amazing, isn't it? It's been great. But we're coming to the last few minutes. So what I want to kind of ask you both is a final statement. So in regards to what we've spoken about today, what key thing do you want to give to the audience to take away from what we've spoken about? What key thing would you want to give to the audience to take away to learn about marriage?
Curtis?
Be prepared to sacrifice your dream and create a new one as a couple. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Just be prepared.
Mine would definitely be about the friendship, making sure that you have a friendship with the person. be willing to have uncomfortable conversations. And understand that love is not always about the giddy feeling. Yeah. And your marriage is what you make it. There is no cookie cutter. Okay. And please don't be looking at other people on Instagram and I think couple goals. Let's not, I know we've only got a couple of minutes, but no, because you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. And I would not be putting a size 9 shoe on my size 6 feet because it doesn't fit me. So do you. And if you are having problems in your marriage or relationship, I know marriage is sacred, but I'm not one for keep it to yourself only because there's no new issue. Somebody has been through what you've been through before. And if you talk to people that you honestly trust, you'll find that what you're going through is not unique. It can be saved.
Of course.
That's a key word.
Can be saved. So, yeah, I think that's all I would say. And I love Rex, my husband. I've got to put it in there.
I love my babe too. Love my babe too. Love my babe too.
Hey.
Cheers, babe.
Rex, I tell you, I love this couple. One day we'll get them on both together. You are an awesome couple.
Oh, thank you.
I'll let Curtis sort that out because Curtis is the I just host.
I know people.
He knows people.
Knows so many people.
Well, guys, thank you so much. Guys, audience, I say guys, but audience, I hope you've enjoyed the conversation. If you've joined us late, my friends, people, you know the time is 7:30. 7:40, 7:30, you know what I'm saying? Come around that time, listen. Come around that time. Don't come at 9. We're done. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's coming like it's church. Listen, guys, come at 7:30. Get yourself ready. Get yourself situated. You get me? I will be back here tomorrow because I'll be on a live, put a ring on it. Also, we're gonna be here on Saturday as well, guys. It's a special surprise for those who watch Put a Ring on It. I've got some special people that come on the show who are actually on the show. So you might want to tune in. Get me? So we'll do some things there as well. But I want to honor my guests once more again. Anita and Curtis, thank you so much. Anita, by the way, I don't know if you know, I saw some comments there. People were saying they loved you. They loved your wisdom. Yeah. They were saying that. There was some people that were saying they loved your wisdom. And they said, bring her back again. I said, you know what? Exactly. Thank you. That's what Curtis, you hear that? I'll let Curtis sort that out. He's the man that sorts these things out. All right. But yeah, thank you so much for shelling out your wisdom and actually having a real, genuine, open, transparent conversation around marriage. Anita, I don't know if you have anything you wanted to plug, even if it's someone's business. I don't mind.
Yes, Asili clothing. I'm wearing one of the jumpers now.
Okay.
Hello. So yes, Asili clothing. They have clothing and merchandise that basically shows Africa in a positive light.
Okay.
They've got some great t-shirts. They've got some winter wear coming out. So yes, please get online and purchase.
Okay. Where?
How do I spell that then? So I'll put it in
the ASILI.
ASILI, yeah.
I think it's asilclothing.co.uk.
Okay. Cool.
I think Rex is probably going to put it underneath so that people can go online and purchase.
asilclothing.co.uk.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Come on, Rex.
Let's put it down there. Sorry, the baby brain. I should know it. But supporting all the same. And it would be great if you guys could as well. It's a Black-owned business, and we need to support the community. And I know, Little Black Book, you've got your own clothing, apparel.
A little something.
A little something. So people need to get on there. I will be purchasing as well.
Come on now, minerals gang.
Have you got the minerals? Have you got the
minerals? Had they got the minerals? Because marriage needs minerals.
It needs minerals.
You need the courage and the strength to get through it. That's what I've been hearing.
Come on.
It's amazing. Marriage is wonderful. Marriage is wonderful.
Thank you. I love that. Curtis, do you have anything you want to plug apart from cutting hair, beards and stuff?
Thank you very much. This is Marriage UK. Listen, I'll tell you what we got. We have the marriage council.
Sorry, do you know what? Yeah, do you know what?
Shame on us.
We ain't even told these guys. Yeah, we need to tell them. Let's tell them about the
Guys, listen. We have developed a new platform for people who want a more intimate setting for marriage or relationship support. Yes, the singles are welcome too.
Yeah.
But we're pushing people towards a destination and helping people on that journey. We have developed a platform where you can get intimate support in a private setting, not public, where you can ask your questions. Listen, from people who know the answers and know how to articulate those answers, support you through that journey. So if you are hitting a spot, if you're confused, you're tired, you don't know how to overcome, if you want to be educated, this platform is for you. It's the Marriage Council. Now you can get us first on Instagram.
Patreon did it.
And Patreon. And you can subscribe out of love, or you can subscribe to our tiers. Listen, we also have Q&A sessions as well. We answer questions only via a panel. This will be launched soon. Now the sessions, listen, I know a lot of you are not prepared to pay £90 a session for a therapist. It's not easy. It's not easy. £90 a session for some couples, especially now, is a challenge. We have got these sessions down, although you can do them in a semi-private way with us for approximately £2 a session. Listen carefully. That's between myself and Kojo. We're offering that service where if you are struggling, or if you want education, or if you want premarital, you can join our platform. We're covering a syllabus, and it's going to be ongoing, regular contributions from the seasoned in life. You've seen some of them before on this show, and you'll see them on my channel, on my YouTube channel. £2 a session. Listen, is that worth investing in? Of course it is. So join Patreon and go to our Patreon page, The Marriage Council. Check it out. And I guess somehow we'll put up a post to promote that. So you can just do a quick link there, right? Bro, if you want to say anything else on that.
Yeah, just guys, you know me, I don't like to offer anything that's going to be not worth your while, or it's not going to be educational. So this is something that myself and Curtis have put together to kind of bring stuff like this that we're talking about, and probably a bit more intimate setting for you guys. So if you're looking to have more conversations like this, you want to be involved, you want to ask questions, because I know a lot of people kind of message me or they email me, but some of the questions are actually beyond me because I'm not married. So I can only give you my relationship hat. But I'm going to be working alongside other people who are also going to be experienced and seasoned in that area. So if you've got questions you want to ask and have conversation around that, and listen, please get onto the Instagram, the Marriage Council, and also get onto the Patreon, the Marriage Council. So Aisha just said, what's £2? We're talking about obviously sessions. So if you go onto Patreon, you can sign up as just a supporter. You can sign up.
She's asking if it's $2.
Oh, $2. No, it's not $2, is it? It's slightly more for
£2 sterling.
£2 sterling. Yeah, it's £2 sterling, guys. So dollars a little bit more. Unfortunately, don't worry, you be fine. But yeah, I would say, guys, listen, jump on it. You know what I'm saying? This is for me. This is amazing to have, because, like I said, there's a lot of channels will do stuff about dating, but when we talk about marriage, this is something you have to experience. So if you're going to get people that have experienced it and can give you words of wisdom, this is the place to come and get it. You know what I'm saying? We can talk about dating all day. All of us are in that space. But when it gets to that marriage stuff, you need people that have actually experienced it so you can take the wisdom from it. So, guys, that's all I can say. Make sure you sign up to the Patreon. Get also on the Instagram and leave us a comment as well. And yeah, man, I look forward to seeing you guys soon, man. It's going to be good. You know what I mean? Again, Anita and Curtis, thank you so much for joining me. Anita, we'll see each other soon again, I'm sure, as Curtis will load that up. But guys, again, don't forget, join us tomorrow 7:30 for another live and put a ring on it. Saturday, join us at 7 as well for a live as well. And I'll put a post up so you guys can see that. But yeah, guys, it's been amazing. It's been beautiful. Please stay locked, stay loaded. Make sure you like, share, subscribe.